All right. What's up, Josh? How's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
Good. Yeah, good to meet you. So I know a little bit about what's kind of going on, what brings you in here, but go ahead. I'd love to hear it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm in my senior year here at BYU, studying psychology. So I'm just trying to figure out. I got a couple life changes going on. Just had a kid about a month ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
Boy or girl?
Boy. Yeah.
Nice.
So
That's
it's been awesome to be with him, but I think might be taxing on my grades and just other performance in class. I feel like other semesters or other years I was able to sit in class and get the info I need and kind of be, study for a test but then be ready for it. But now I feel like it's like I'm going back and watching lectures and I'm trying to just take stuff in. I feel like I'm not encapsulating everything and learning everything the way I used to. So I don't know, I'm just struggling grade-wise and learning-wise. I don't know if I'm learning the best of my abilities and it's taking more time to learn, so it's just taking more time out of my schedule. So
Sure, that's fair. Taking school out of it for a second, I know that's obviously a big deal, like provide for your family and get an education, but like knowing your performance in school, like what impact has that had on you and your daily life and just physically, mentally, emotionally, like in terms of having a kid?
Yeah.
Are you guys?
Okay, wait, let me see. We're taking school out of the equation and just seeing what is going on with my life outside of school.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's obviously a huge life change. So, like, for example, any mental illnesses going on, any, like sleep, for example. I mean, for parents, it's a big one, right?
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely, I wouldn't say I haven't had a really prevalence of mental health issues really in my life, but I'd say it's been a little more stressful to try and get enough sleep to be able to, I got early morning classes I got to get to.
Okay.
Helping my wife with the baby in the middle of the night, keeping me up. It's just kind of been draggy going through the days, trying to get through certain classes, just like, hey, I need to get home and help my wife, but also I'm running on 0 hours of sleep.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay, let's dive into that one a little bit more.
Okay.
So, I mean, you mentioned right there, just I'm open, but maybe not assuming it's a joke, the 2 hours. What do you think you're getting on average?
Oh, way less than normal. I feel like
before
kid, I always cherished sleep, and then like in high school I sleep till like 10:30.
Yeah.
College it's been 11.
Sure.
So I used to get 8-ish hours. I think now it's probably a 2 to 4, but it's also within little. It's not a whole entire 4. It's like an hour that I'm helping, and then 30 minutes that I'm helping, and then it's just
kind
of all over the night.
Okay.
So it's in different spans, but it's definitely not over 4 hours, I'd say.
No shame and no wrong answers there. First of all, I just want to say, man, like you can do it. I mean, it's not rocket science to know that all of us, I mean, in human history, that it's just something we go through when we have kids, and we're better for it, even though we, are sucking it up in school. No, I'm just kidding. So let's talk a little bit about sleep and maybe what effect that's having on you in school. And so when we don't sleep, when we don't get adequate sleep, that is, our brain is just stressed out. And it goes under what's called oxidative stress, which is just a chemical way of saying that there's a misbalance in the nutrients that your different neurons are getting and the nutrients that those neurons should be giving other neurons, etc., etc. So when you're under this oxidative stress, your brain just isn't as good at doing the things that it's done your whole life when you've been sleeping from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. or whatever it is. And so you're a good student, I'm assuming. You're obviously a hard worker trying to provide for your family. And so, the memory tasks and these things that you've been doing with 7, 8, 9 hours of sleep, your brain's just having a harder time doing that with 2 to 4, obviously.
Yeah.
And so you know, in this, you mentioned your son's a month old, and this is just a new thing, and hopefully with time he starts sleeping better and everything.
Hopefully.
But what if we just maybe brainstorm some things we can do to help you out, like today with sleep? So what is your sleep schedule like, even before going to bed, throughout the night?
It's been kind of a wrench thrown in the schedule. Like, I feel like it used to be like, okay, I'm winding down, I'm gonna go brush my teeth and do whatever, and then I'm just gonna kind of, I don't know, turn off the lights and get in bed. But now it's like, okay, whenever the baby's almost asleep, let's try to sneak in bed and go to bed really quick.
Sure.
And then hearing the baby make little noises, and then I'm up and I'm thinking about that, and the mind's just kind of running, not shutting off. It used to just be like, no, the distractions, I'm gonna get in bed, lights are out, I'm gonna be calm, fall asleep. But now it's just stressed about my baby, stressed about my wife, she's not getting enough sleep, and other stuff, and then my mind's kind of constantly going.
Totally. So one thing I want to talk about, so our circadian rhythm is basically our internal clock in our brain. Has a lot to do with the cycles of sleep that we go through.
Gotcha.
So all sleep isn't equal, right? And so we go through different levels of sleep, and that, you know, is determined by our brain waves and what our brain is doing. I want to try to invite you to at least try to get in like 1.5 hour increments of sleep. About 1.5 hours is how long it takes the brain to go through one full sleep cycle.
Gotcha.
You're gonna feel a lot more rested, for example, if you sleep in those 1 hour and 30-minute increments, rather than just like waking up at a random time. It seems counterintuitive.
Yeah.
For example, sometimes for me, if, you know, following that 1 hour and 30-minute increment of time, if I sleep like 6 hours, I feel way more rested than if I slept 7 hours, because it's in that increment of time.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no.
So especially right now where you're like, man, I'm sleeping a few minutes at a time here, an hour there. Maybe try to talk about that with your wife, because I'm sure she's struggling too. Like, hey, how can we schedule this so at least we're getting 1.5 hours? And you know, whether that's one time or, you know, 4 or 5 times throughout the night, obviously, eventually. What do you think about that? Does that sound good?
No, I like that.
Yeah.
So you're saying even if like I'm falling asleep and I'm waking up at like a 45-minute, I'm kind of just at a different time in that cycle, and that can kind of mess things up.
I mean, we want to get you as much sleep as we can.
Yeah.
Right? But in terms of just your performance throughout the day, feeling rested and having your brain be at a level where it can take this information in, reducing the oxidative stress, I think would be better if we can try to finish those sleep cycles.
Okay, cool.
But if you're like sitting at home and you're like, oh, I don't have 1.5 hours, and so I'm just gonna, you know, not sleep anyways, like, don't do that.
Okay.
As well. So it's a good balance, and I can give you names of people that are a lot smarter than me that can help you out to find some behavioral and cognitive therapies to try to help you sleep better. There's medication. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do.
Cool. That sounds awesome. And do you know if there's any, I don't know, benefit if I try to catch 1.5 hours in a day, or is it like better at night, do you know?
Yeah, I mean, it might throw off your circadian rhythm a little bit in that then all of a sudden at night you're maybe not able to fall asleep as well. But I would say at this time where, you know, you're not getting a lot of sleep and your son is so young, I would say that if you have 1.5 hours during the day, I think that's great.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
All right. Awesome, man. Good to meet with you.
Yeah, good to meet you too.
All right. I forgot to put the thing on again. Okay, that was 9 minutes.